on to the SMITE Masters.
And the fun part here is the picks and bans phase, especially because everybody knows EU is not exactly common for the Scotty Kabrakins, and Susanoo's actually the flavor of the year for EU. So I kind of expect some of those bans to come into play, both regions trying to take away comfort picks from the other.
Scotty's been prioritized across both regions so far, but there's a definite difference in style, it seems, between the way EU Hunter players play the Scotty and the NA, and PandaCat, despite losing in that last game, Chapo, really showed that he's very comfortable on that god.
Yeah, I mean, when he plays Scotty, he knows how to position himself really well. I mean, he almost plays like an assassin. I don't know if you were seeing in that one of the last team fights, he was coming from the side, picking people off. But, well, Terra ban?
Early on, I mean, Terra was a big deal for EUnited. They had a lot of trouble up against it for Soar. No surprise there. NRG is going to be the one to ban away Susano. Verizio, while not being an EU player, has shown time and time again that he's very, very comfortable on the Susano.
And Susano is definitely a god that you can just get so much snowball potential going with. And in a best-of-3 scenario like this, where both of these teams have already suffered losses today, you usually want to try and start out on the best footing. So preventing as much snowball opportunity as you can is definitely the way to go.
Scotty is going to be the ban. EUnited don't want to give that up or first pick it at this stage. NRG has a couple options here, but Kabrakin seems to be the most obvious one, Chapo.
Could be, it could be. I'm not sure if NRG is even thinking about Chang'e. You haven't seen it in a while. Could they bring it out the Circuit? So it seems like they're targeting Verizio. They saw the last 2 games. They performed really well. So I don't mind the 2 bans against the jungler.
But Kabrakin is open. Verizio does. I don't know if he's played it during the regular season, but at this point, you have to have Kabrakin in your god pool as a jungler, as a solo laner, or as a support. He's been the top pick, top ban all weekend long. EUnited does have that Chang'e available to them as well. Also saw a couple Zhang Kui bans up against Soar. A lot of different options here for the NA team.
Fafnir is always an option as well. Fafnir is a highly regarded pick in NRG. I mean, they have Raffer, and Raffer can definitely play a pretty mean Fafnir.
Without a doubt, but it is going to be the Kabrakin here for EUnited. And again, this just goes back to the fact that this is a flex pick, Chapo. It doesn't necessarily show EUnited's hand quite yet.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I would like to see, I call him Salt Machine.
Benji.
Benji. I would like to see him on Kabrakin because he's been playing these bullies, but I would like Verizio to start focusing Panda. Panda can carry a game too. Throw him on a Guardian that you can't kill in the solo lane. He does come out in the mid game and does the same thing Benji was doing regardless.
Exactly. It's still a pressure Guardian, but you also have that unkillable feel of a Guardian like a Terra or a Sobek or even a Kuzenbo, though we only saw one Kuzenbo so far this weekend, and it didn't work out too well. Remaining 2 picks here, the returning 2 picks, I should say, for NRG, adapting and team looking to see what they want. Bologna early on here, which is surprising to me in one way. The Fafnir does not surprise me whatsoever. As you mentioned, Taco, very, very comfortable there for Raffer. Bologna has dominated so far this weekend, no doubt about that. Shoutouts to Deathwalker for bringing it out. But if that is Kabrakin in the solo lane, that is a horrible matchup for Bologna.
It really is. You just honestly won her bludgeon, and then you instantly group the wave and clear it. And now a Guardian that's supposed to be pressured out is keeping the same pressure as a Bologna.
But this is standard for NRG, I suppose. Just say, Dimmy, yeah, play this thing that gets destroyed in lane, and we'll see it 15 minutes when you're 0-2, but we'll be winning the game by then on the left side of the map.
And it's the fact that Dimmy is still able to maintain a pretty solid laning experience, considering the position that he's usually put into, where it's like, hey, we know you're going to be behind, adapting. Yeah, we might gank your lane a couple of times, but having to play knowing that the aggression is going to be placed onto you 99% of the time for the first 10 minutes of a game, that can be pretty rough.
Hunbats and Zhang Kui, very similar draft to what we saw early on from EUnited. 2 comfort picks for the mid and jungle of EUnited. Hu Yi going to be the last pick there before the ban phase for Emilito, who basically single-handedly won the game earlier on in game 1 up against Team Rival. A couple Hunter bans coming out from NRG, focusing out PandaCat on her and Rom. EUnited looking at adapting with that Thor ban and Yemen with that Isis ban. Are you surprised that Cupid didn't get banned here, Chapo? Because it does excellently up against Hu Yi, and PandaCat can play it perfectly.
Yeah, I'm actually, that might be the lack of experience of watching EUnited. I mean, he does have a great honor, but I really would have liked to see Cupid instead of Honor. I haven't seen him play Honor in a very long time.
Plus, Cupid has a lot more fun as far as the laning phase is concerned with Hu Yi, due to the fact that his Heart Bomb can actually cancel out the jump animation from Huyi, as well as just the fact that he doesn't have CC immunity. That can be incredibly problematic when trying to deal with the Cupid in the Fields of Love with the Heart Bomb combination.
I really think the Cupid would be a very strong pick here for EUnited, with Scylla locked in for Yemen in the mid lane, shutting down that Sentinel mobility. And just look at the AoE that EUnited already has available to them. Fear No Evil, the Zhang Kui ultimate, Kabrakin can lock down a large area with those tremors as well. A lot of good synergy there between the Hunter if they want to go for him.
I think Cupid would fit this perfect. It's so much beads blowers. Like they're never gonna have beads for the Hun bots, and it's healing. You gotta never forget Cupid also brings healing, and they have no healing on the other side. And maybe they'll grab some meds sometime.
And especially, yeah, with the EUnited not wanting to grab meditations, they could use some of that sustain to try and keep them healthy. You know, NRG likes to go for that meditation, as do most teams right now.
I'm just waiting for the AMC to happen or something crazy, but
there it is.
No.
there it is. The Cupid that I think we can safely say we're all expecting. It's just you never know, man. You never know when these players want to pull out something spicy.
That's true. The Amaterasu is going to be the last selection for EUnited, along with Cupid in that long lane for Pain Divion. Though it could be Kabrakin support Amaterasu in the solo lane. But with how good the matchup is against Bologna, I'd imagine that Kabrakin is going to Benji. Last pick almost in here for NRG. They're missing their jungler. Chapo, you're a jungler. What would you pick in this scenario?
I would pick something with high CC. Oh,
or not.
Or not. I'm sorry.
Take that. That's why. That's why you're here.
That's why I'm
and
sitting
adapting's
there.
there. Exactly. Nemesis gonna lock it down, and it's great up against that Zhang Kui. It's what we always talk about. When Zhang Kui's locked in, where's the Nemesis ban? There wasn't one this time around. The comps are complete. Chapo, who do you like?
I like EUnited. It's a more simple comp to just come at them with AoE.
Taco?
I actually really like EUnited's draft as well, especially considering the comfort factor.
Well, here you go. We're almost ready to get into game one. Let's throw it over to the casters. TNT, Tom and Tolly.
Thanks a lot, guys. Looking at this draft right here, I mean, Bracken, broken. Hunbats, Zhang Kui, Amaterasu, Cupid. These are perhaps the best options for these players on the side of EUnited.
It just seems like it's more of an all-in composition out of this squad. You're looking at Zhang Kui trying to run all-in, face forward, and something that Pain Divion has been doing today thus far is getting the sprint at level 1, trying to synergize with that, because it takes a while for that Guardian to get level 12. But NRG, on the other hand, their composition is a little bit more straightforward. The Nemesis hasn't been really played too much this weekend, only seeing one pick and that one victory. And it's also going to be adapting on this aggressive Nemesis.
Yeah, adapting really likes to play the Nemesis. Look out for crit. I'm not sure if that's the direction we're going to go, but adapting's notorious for playing her extremely aggressive. And like I said, she's the rock to Zhang Kui's scissor. It's just a straight up hard counter to the character. That's certainly something that NRG was thinking the entire time. Gonna go back to it though. Hunbats on Verizial, Zhang Kui on Chaos, Amaterasu, that's Benji. I think we're seeing a support Kabrakin, and Cupid on Panda Cat. Let's jump into game. These guys are comfortable as all hell, and actually it will be Benji on the Bracken, so we'll change that one up a bit. But EUnited still very comfortable. Slow's already starting. Adapting's going to take some damage, and it's going to be dished back onto Verizial.
Interesting idea to get the jump at level 1. This is going to hurt EUnited's lane clear completely now. Verizial, if he decides to commit and jump into this wave, the rest of Adapting and Yaman will certainly make him get punished for it.
A little bit. You're going to lose a little bit of the damage, but that slow is very important. That's what he was looking for. It's a large slow. And hey, look, it chases out the beads out of Yaman nice and early. Not just Yaman, but Adapting as well have already used their beads. So you know what? I think Verizial pays off.
Chaos doing a good job clearing the wave before the opposition because of his build, going for the Soul Stone and Tiny Trinket. Whatever damage Verizial is lacking, Chaos makes up for it, so this is why we're seeing EUnited synergize so well and out-clear the combination out of NRG.
So the damage, you're losing about 30 to 40 damage versus the jump versus the overhand smash, but it's a 30% slow when Hunbats jumps on top of you. So whatever damage you lose off of the initial application of the ability, you're going to gain in the basic attack. Don't forget the not so guaranteed, but hopefully crit in the passive, and then of course, like you said, the assistance from the mid lane Chaos on the Zhang Kui. So certainly something to you got to see the whole equation instead of just how much damage that one thing deals. And look at this right away. EUnited staying aggressive, pushing Yaman under the tower.
You can tell EUnited was doing their homework in the earlier set rival against NRG, because in all 3 games, Yaman was really struggling early on, getting focused primarily, and that was the result of the downfall of NRG. And because of this downfall, EUnited is able to invade the speed buff, but this doesn't deter adapting, though. That he recognizes he's going to lose the speed buff, he's just going to invade on the left-hand side instead.
I like how Pain Devion helping out Benji here on the right side, leaving PandaCat by his lonesome. No reason to really help that player out. And adapting, making sure to stay on his own side of the jungle. NRG playing it safe. The Nemesis, certainly not an early game god by any means.
No, not at all. Going for the Death's Toll, trying to really start boxing out people and get the sustain options, at least in the jungle with that Bumba's Mask. It's going to be very difficult to really lock down adapting, playing this very mobile jungler.
So Chaos here on the Zhang Kui. We know that he likes the Bancroft, and that's likely where he's going to go for the power. But I'm very curious to see where he goes after that. Zhang Kui is a unique character. He can be played utility. You can buy a gem of ISO and slow everybody down. But I really think it comes down to that melee range burst that Chaos is looking for. So expect a lot of damage and a lot of pen.
And the problem is, though, regardless of what he does with the protections or the health, adapting is going to be able to just melt that with the ultimate. So we could see adapting try to go for some cooldown reduction just to be an ult bot and making Chaos's life a little bit more difficult. So going for the damage style, predicting that, going for the all-in style, wouldn't be a bad idea for this mid player.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why the Nemesis is selected here, just to shut down the Chaos Zhang Kui selection. So as the game gets a little bit more mature and Chaos not only hits level 5 as he just has, but continues on building up those protections, that's when we're going to see adapting a little bit more active.
Interesting thing that Emilito is doing here is his build, going for the Bluestone into the Light Blade. Similar story against Rival on the Huyi, because it gives him this nice little power spike early on where he gets the attack speed from the Light Blade, which only costs 600 gold, similar to Shortbow back in Season 3. And the Bluestone helps him clear those back Harpies and the purple buffs whenever he has time to go rotate in the jungle.
But at the same time, by going with the Light Blade, that means he's not going to be starting out with the Transcendence or even the Devo gloves, as we saw some hunters building earlier, which means Emilito likely not going to be going into one of those stacking builds. And look at the poke Panda's able to dish out.
Because Emilito is level 5, he's trying to be aggressive against PandaCat's Cupid. Now hitting level 5, PandaCat dashing in, forcing the jump out of Emilito. Trading the ultimates would certainly favor out PandaCat with the rotation from Verizial.
Pain Devion on the right, Verizial on the left. EUnited looking to make the pincer move, but NRG don't take the bait. EUnited was looking for the 3-on-1 with Chaos being the 1, and then surprise jump over the wall, and well, Fear No Evil makes everybody run in different directions, but NRG not so easily fooled.
The problem is, even if they commit a 3-on-1 to Chaos, because of all the passive stacks that he has, all the souls in the Zhang Kui's bag, that gives him a lot of protections, even in this early stages. So it would take quite a long time for NRG to commit to the kill, which would allow the rest of EUnited to really take advantage.
Nice little combo there coming out from Raffer and Yaman. The stun out of the support into the Root Crush combo from Yaman brings Verizial down to about half HP, but luckily for the jungler, he has that mask, so he'll be able to heal up off these Harpies, along with Chaos and his friend Pain Devion. So 5 minutes in, no action just yet, no kills on the board. Yeah, we are right here in our losers finals. NRG Esports representing Europe and EUnited representing North America.
A little bit of a goal lead currently for EUnited because of those invades from earlier on, able to control some of these neutral camps along the mid side, allowing them to slowly surmount themselves with a comfortable lead. Now the question is, are they going to start looking for any further invades after the last? We do see adapting with his own speed, and it seems that NRG got all the buffs that they needed.
I think we will see a little bit more of an active game coming out from NRG. PandaCat clearing up his own jungle, so adapting won't be able to sit over there, and PandaCat makes sure that adapting knows he's local.
A lot of love there between PandaCat and adapting as the VET comes out of the keyboard from the young Ukrainian player. But either way, adapting still figuring out what he wants to do in terms of his first target. Now going back to base and finishing off the Warrior Tabby. And with this item, you never really know what the direction is from this aggressive jungler.
So Benji on the Cabrakan versus Dimmy on the Bologna. A lot of times we look at Cabrakan, he is one of, if not the best level 1 character in the game, and yet This is the first time we're really seeing him do a lot of work. Is it a problem that Kabrakin hasn't been active just yet?
No, I wouldn't say that it's a problem necessarily. This is an old school matchup that we saw back in Season 2. Xaylia was the one to really bring this character out in the soul lane. This was when purple potions were being able to be picked up during the 450 gold streak, and you would go Kabrakin, go Mark of the Vanguard, use that purple pot to your advantage just to be able to get a sneaky level 2 or 3 kill.
That's when he was Fat Loki. He was a burst character. You saw the Polynomicons, you saw the Soul Reavers as well. Now, Kabrakin occupies a very different part of the game. Pain of Iana Varizio getting aggressive. There's the ultimate out of the monkey. Not enough to kill until Bluestone comes through. First blood for EUnited.
Varizio with the better end of that one, but Adapting's not done yet. He wants to find a chase target. Chaos caught in a world of her getting stunned out by Dimmy's rotation.
But it's enough. He's tanky, and he's hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Adapting with the double dash. Gets him with the basic. That'll tie the game up for NRG.
Even expecting the stun, instantly using that purification beads. The mechanics coming out of this European jungler are still always so surprising.
Adapting made a name for himself on hitting his buttons correctly, and he's not stopping any time soon. Cheeky play by Varizio going really deep for Yaman on the tier 2 tower, but when you want to start the game, you want to start the game. First blood amplifies the already 500 gold lead that EUnited amassed thanks to their jungle presence. So 1,000 gold, nice and early at 7.5.
Adapting, getting able to get those Fire Giant Elementals until Varizio shows his face. Level 9 Adapting, though, Pain Deviant right around the corner, but Raffer and Yaman are here as well.
Yeah, Varizio wanted to go deep, but as soon as he saw the mid and the support show up, opted to walk in the other direction. I love the way Varizio is using his jump, utilizing that slow so much, making sure that the characters that don't have too many escapes stay nice and close to him.
And because of the slow percentage coming out of that ability, it secures 1 to 2 in-hands off of the Hunbat, synergizing very well with his passive, augmenting some extra critical strike chance, and then following up with further abilities, making sure to strike in some more in-hands. There's a lot of burst potential, even at this early phase before the Hunbats gets any sort of items online.
Yeah, he's building into that Hydra's Lament, most likely. I don't think we're going to see a Transcendence on the monkey just yet. But that Hydra's Lament, this is one of the items that has really brought Hunbats. He's always been in the meta. There's never a situation where Fear No Evil is bad, but he's just risen up the ranks because of the fact that Hydra's Lament just synergizes so well with that passive.
You know, giving you that extra cooldown reduction doesn't hurt you, considering the fact that you're always looking to trade out your ultimate just for the purification beads, which gives you a slightly bigger window to look for that secondary play.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking for the damage coming out from the Jungle Monkey. Right now has boots online, just like his counterpart in the jungle, Adapting on the Nemesis. Nemesis, we've talked about how she is the counter to Zhonghui, and she's a later game character. Well, just how late are we talking?
Well, not too late right now, though. Still the 9-minute mark. Raffer almost jumped on there by Varizio, trying to make sure there's no shenanigans going on. If there's any picks at this point, Gold Fury will be exposed, a little bit vulnerable, but there's not that much burst potential.
Oh, around the corner, Emilito just showing what he can do. He knows Panda Cat's going to clean that one up with his hearts, but sometimes it's about sending a message.
It seems that Emilito is definitely feeling himself after the second game against Team Rival, whenever he found that triple ricochet bounce, showing what he's capable of. Even confident enough to just try to go for the stun, the ultimate to slow down, doesn't connect on the stun, but still forces the beads out of Panda Cat.
Yeah, I don't think the beads were necessary there out of Panda Cat, but I think, you know, just felt like maybe there was somebody else lurking in the wings, so uses the beads to be extra careful. Benji clears the wave, misses the stun on Adapting, so that won't be the case there.
2-on-2 in the mid lane. Chaos level 10 with Pain Deviant right around the corner. A very aggressive support, and that's not something that's too uncommon whenever you mention Pain Deviant's name. You know, formerly playing a lot of Warriors, the Guan Yus and the Odins back in Season 2 and 3 when they were formerly known as Enemy.
So right now, everybody on NRG's side of the map looking for the speed buff. Ultimate out of Varizio, but he's turned on by Adapting. Silence coming out from Pain Deviant, but he's going to be disarmed, unable to stack up that passive. Yaman just barely misses the root, but gets the crunch. Looking for the ultimate, dodges away as Varizio, but he gets hit by the solo, and the jungle finds the last hit. Adapting with his second of the game. Dealing and dueling back with Pain Deviant. The shield is popped, and Adapting realizes it's not worth the trouble. The level 11 Nemesis backs off and takes what he can get.
The sprint was used to stop the slow from the crush coming out of Yaman, but it doesn't make you immune to slow, so it was reapplied by adapting Slice and Dice. Able to chase down that kill was very important for NRG to get some sort of momentum for their jungler.
Benji trying to go ahead and secure that blue buff for himself. Unable to do so, drops the ultimate, so Benji will be without that for a number of seconds.
Gold Fury still hasn't been looked at by either team, playing very carefully. Nice little steal by Pain Divion, still throwing out that mirror despite being stunned out.
And a very important one as well. You can see that that's going to go ahead and make sure that NRG doesn't have vision, or at least free vision, the Gold Fury. If NRG want vision, they're going to have to pay for it by way of wards. You can see they already have one ward down here on the aggressive side, right underneath that passageway into the jungle by the Gold Fury.
Looking at some of the item choices that's starting to be complete, we're seeing that Hydra's Lament finish for Verizial. Bancrofts has been completed for Chaos. He loves these lifesteal items with the damage, and that synergizes very well with Zhonghui because you use the ultimate, you run at the enemy, they're going to damage you, you're going to be in a lower health percentage, which will amplify your magic damage anyway, and all those spooky ghosts flying around is going to just hurt a little bit more.
Panda Cat doing his best to strip experience and gold away from NRG's Hunter, making sure to just look for the last hits. Right now he's about half a level above Emilito here on the Hou Yi, and Verizial looking to start a party of his own.
A little bit of a different style between these two hunters in their item choices. Finishing off that Transcendence for Panda Cat is going to make sure that his Heart Bombs and the Fields of Love is going to do a lot of damage. Doesn't need to go for the lifesteal considering he has those hearts, whereas Emilito going for the Ichaival, getting more attack speed, and this is something that he's been doing earlier against Rival where he gets a tier 1 life blade to start, but after the Ichaival gets finished, that's when he goes for the Chin Size just to get that increased attack speed, and in the mid game, that's when the Gold Fury is going to get looked at by NRG.
Yeah, I mean, that also is a nice little curve there as well. I think that's really what he's trying to accomplish. So you start out with the Light Blade, which, as you mentioned, very inexpensive, and then the tier 2 also fits into that. You finish your boots because you need the movement speed, and there goes the Ichaival. And then that big, it's over 1,000 gold between the tier 1 and the tier 2, or the tier 3, excuse me, the tier 2 and the tier 3 for Chin Sai. And so that just creates a big space where you're not getting stronger. So by mixing it up with other items, you kind of cancel that out. Emilito gets stunned out thanks to the ultimate at Panda Cat. I think this is just going to be a straight up trade, but Emilito wants to stay aggressive. Misses 1, lands 2, forces out the Aegis, boxing back and forth. Heartbomb's going to do it, and Panda Cat takes out Emilito right to the face. That's a duel. He's on top.
And right after winning that duel, he raises his hand saying, "What's up?" But what's up in the mid lane? The Kabrakan ultimate, cutting off the escape path for the rest of NRG. The Alma Monster connects, but not doing enough to find a kill. Adapting, escaping stage right.
Adapting had about 4 HP right there. Just barely got out of dodge, to use a quote from my old buddy Drybear. And just like Drybear, he's going to stick around and stay relevant no matter what.
Or get out of dodge.
I just wanted to mention Drybear, okay? That's my homie.
Also got to give it up to the item selection for adapting, going for the stone cutting sword, giving him increased movement speed. It's kind of an expensive item. Normally you'll see different item choices coming out of your junglers. You know, you got your Hydra's Lament as well. Benji, though, getting Nemesis ultimate, he's stuck in a 1v2 spot. He doesn't have the ultimate to trap in the opposition. He's going to get slowed indefinitely. Yeah,
the slow is really rough. Benji kind of knows that he's toasted here, so turns around and tries to do the best that he can. Has help from the jungle, just enough time, and Benji, he might be toasted, but he certainly ain't burnt. He'll walk away clean and clear with just a little bit of HP.
That's one tanky Kabrakan. That's why you don't really want to invest too many cooldowns onto this solo laner, but that's going to alleviate a little bit of pressure for Dimmy to be able to push this wave under tower, and without the teleport onto Benji, there could be a lot of damage dealt by this Bellona.
A lot of energy jerseys near the Gold Fury. Teams don't look like they want to commit to that just yet.
Still looking for something around the Gold Fury. Both teams didn't really want to aggress heading into the 15.5 minute mark. Still looking for some sort of option. Looking for their second big items completed. Already has quite a few online. Just now finishing off that hardware amulet is Pain Divion. Has the physical and magical defense auras online.
So again, going back to this Nemesis, I think it's very interesting that we're seeing the stone cutting sword. You mentioned the price. It is relatively expensive, but I expected to see at least some sort of CDR, whether it was the Hydras with 10%, the Jotuns with 20%. This is a character that wants to use his ultimate on cooldown, specifically looking at Chaos, but of course across the board. This time going to use it on Benji, rally over there, not going to find the stun, but all of the other damage combines, and Dimmy gets the kill off of the assist from adapting.
The timing of adapting's gank couldn't be any perfect, because after Benji already uses one steroid, that's when the Nemesis ultimate comes out. Had he waited a little bit longer, I'm sorry, had Benji waited a little bit longer, he would have had that steroid just to use to escape, giving himself that slow immunity.
So just making sure to sequencing, very important.
And if he's going to be using the one to poke in the lane, he might as well be going for this Wing Blade to get that slow immunity instead of going for the Void Stone, which he just now completes, which leads me to believe his idea and mindset is not necessarily to survive against the ganks against adapting, but it's to be able to dive the backline and stick onto Yaman.
Listen, I love the pickup of the Void Stone here from Benji. Kabrakian is absolutely a character that does more than one thing, and often you see these characters just built tanky, but he does deal some damage, just like Pain to Beyond. Getting damage dealt onto him, brought down to about 45% HP is the support. But as I was saying about the Kabrakian, he deals damage. He's also very tanky. You can't really go all damage, then you kind of get blown up. But at the same time, you can build a little bit of hybrid. That's exactly what the Void Stone does. And right now, this item's really strong.
It's a very aggressive build also by Benji, going for this blink in the second relic slot. Not really having too much health in his build whatsoever.
Right.
Instead electing for the pure defenses. We'll see how that's going to favor him later on. But looking at the rest of the relic choices, really aggressive.
And there's going to be a Heart Bomb as adapting ganks out the Hunter Panda Cat. Beautiful play coming out of Emilito. Not enough to kill, however. And the Panda will dash away, stage down.
Benji making his presence known around this Gold Fury. He actually chases adapting out on the left-hand side. Red buff being secured by NRG. This is the point where we could see the Gold Fury attempt, and meanwhile, Dimmy's securing his own the speed buff out of EUnited.
Yeah, he realizes that there's nobody in the world close to where he is, Dimmy that is, so he's going to be able to pick up that speed buff, and the Oracles go on the left side to EUnited. Nice and clean.
Level 17 Bologna. This is the farm that Dimmy has been known to get for himself. Very surprising to see out of the solo laner, but on the flip side, you have a level 17 Panda Cat for EUnited, so where there's strength on one side, there's still a weakness in another.
So before you were talking about the build out of Benji's Kabrakian and lamenting the lack of HP, I think the next item that we're going to see is going to be in the health tree for sure. I'm thinking probably a Pestilence. A lot of these players like to go Pestilence. I see a Meditation already. What are you feeling? You're not in love with the idea of that one?
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for Margardian Male, trying to limit the attack speed from adapting, as well as Emilito giving him that health. That would probably be the best bet to give him the health, give him the physical protections to survive against this late game Hunter in Emilito.
I want to see a Witchblade or a Runic Shield at least on EUnited. Bologna, Nemesis, and the Hunter, 3 basic attack-oriented characters. Emilito, on his business, finds the bounce onto Panda Cat one more time, blinded out. Halfway dead is the Gold Fury. EUnited have it. They'll leash it, and they'll get aggressive.
First attempt by either team around the 19.5-minute mark. This actually forced the canceling of the back from Yaman, wanting to really finish off what looks to be probably the Ethereal Staff. It is going to be that Ethereal Staff. Going to give him that 5% extra magical damage every 10 seconds, and that's not a bad idea here, as it's a great idea to go for Pain de Beyond constantly. If you can find that root cripple, Pain de Beyond is going to be taking a lot of damage, and he might have to invest into using his ultimate just to escape.
Right now he's got 2 aura items, so he'll be able to at least be a little tanky, but you're right. Once you're able to chase out that Amaterasu ultimate in the way of being defensive, well, a lot of for what she offers or brings to the team is null and void. Big point, of course, is going to be the fact that those auras will help out the team throughout a majority of the team fights. Pig's coming out in the mid lane. Jean-Qui not there. So NRG trying to tell the teams that EUnited's mid is missing.
Despite all the auras coming out of Pain de Beyond, looking at the relics from adapting, going for the Sunder in that second slot. Very aggressive option for Rizio, though, hiding around the corner, trying to catch out Emilito, forcing the Aegis.
And the Gold Fury going to be attacked. Everybody going to be near it. Pain de Beyond is still in control. Raffer uses the transformation. Left side, a fight going on with the Hunters. Emilito takes down Verizio despite his best effort. Raffer's in trouble, but he's able to dance away. Trying to catch up is Pain of Beyond, offers to change targets, looking at Emilito. Here comes the Ghost out of Chaos. Raver can't get too close, he might die, but Dimmy gets one, Chaos answers back.
But now it's going to be Chaos running away from the action. Dimmy is here, Yaman trying
Big
to
stun.
survive, he gets hit by the card. Raver getting taken out as well. Panda Cat trying to dash through to get the hearts. Has been a 3 for 2 thus far. Make that a 3 for 3, but NRG aren't done chasing yet. Benji doesn't have any mana.
Chaos half HP, heals up all for the minions. Nice little secret play coming out from the Zhonghui pilot. Dimmy and Adapting still giving chase. They realize they can kill the Ghost Man. He's going to turn around trying to dodge and weave, but it just won't happen. 3 in a row for Dimmy. He's 3-0-3.
NRG with the perfect timing of these staggered deaths. Now Chaos and Panda Cat are going to be dead for so long that NRG, they have time to invade the speed, and if they wanted to, they could have looked for the blue buff, but there's a big wave in the solo lane. Gold Fury is going to be up and available for any team here. Chaos dead for 25 seconds. This is going to be a nice little 5-on-4 for NRG.
This has been a fun one to watch so far, folks. 22 on the clock, 7-5 read the kills, and teams are all but tied. 1,000 gold separate everybody else. EUnited in the lead. But when it comes to 1,000 gold, Anatoly, we're looking at much more of a tie than an actual lead.
Considering it's a 22-minute mark, I would definitely agree with you in that regard, F. Gotta see some Gold Furies relatively soon out of these teams if they really want to snowball, but this is a very important match here. This is the wild card, the last slot remaining to get into Masters.
Yeah, we brought 14 teams here, folks, and only 3 will be coming out. NRG and EUnited, only one of these teams get to go and make it to the Masters land in a couple of weeks. Emilito gets jumped on by the monkey, forces out the ultimate. Here comes the help from the support. But that's going to be enough for Emilito as he tells everybody that the cavalry on their way, and NRG, their presence alone, enough to chase EUnited. Half HP on the Gold Fury one more time, looking like they want to leash it and take the fight. 25%, they have to commit at this point. Everybody's around here. Raven's going to go ahead and turn things around. Fear No Evil comes out. Gold Fury goes away. Energy snatched out of the hand of the North Americans.
Yaman with the I'm a Monster, finding the Gold Fury and Adapting, finding Chaos in the backline. Crush, going to slow up Pain to Beyond as well. This is going very well for NRG.
And there's the jump out of Emilito to get over the ultimate from the Kraken. Turning his sights onto Yaman as Benji. Nice read from the mid laner. Nice read from the mid laner again. Virizial can't find Yaman for the life of him. Meanwhile, Adapting on the backside takes out the Hunter.
Benji doing so much damage, gets rooted in place. The damage is there from the Kraken. Nice stun, preventing the bludgeon damage. The tremors pounding and grounding, but it doesn't matter. NRG, they find the Gold Fury and they find 3. Make that 4 onto Pain. There we go.
Yeah, Adapter's gonna pick that one up clean and clear. 6-0-5 for the Swedish jungler, looking absolutely fantastic. Adapting on what is lauded as a counter pick, but Adapting doing work in his own right.
Oh no, just unfortunate for Adapting. Couldn't find the range to the slice and dice just to be able to cancel the back out of Virizial. But either way, like you mentioned, a great performance out of this jungler. Having 100% kill participation will look like to be a slow start for him, considering they were getting out pressured at level 1, losing his speed buff to start things off, which is something that we know kind of tilts Adapting. If you ever watched his stream, he has highlights of himself actually wanting to defend his speed buff at any given cost, even if you have to sacrifice yourself. But either way, he managed to come back into the game and still stay relevant despite not getting his first speed buff.
Listen, it's a pride thing, my man. That's my jungle. That's my jungle buff. How dare you take it away from me? Adapting, a very prideful person, and NRG, a very prideful team, which is why I was a little bit curious to see how they'd perform being in the losers side of the bracket.
With this kind of lead here for Adapting, he's invested into a lot of mobility with the Stone Cutting Sword, the Wing Blade, also a lot of attack speed on this Executioner, which is also going to lower the physical protections of whatever target he's hitting, allowing Dimmy to dive that backline alongside.
Benji looking for a little bit of poke on his opposition. Whereas Pain to Beyond trying to make sure that nobody looks for the Portal Demon just yet. Chaos makes the rotation, and the Hunter on the side of EUnited lagging a bit behind. He's just mid lane so far. Pink's coming out towards the top, Looks like EUnited thinking about getting aggressive here.
Benji doing a good job zoning. Emilito trying to find the jump. Gets hit by the stun. Jumping behind the Fire Giant. 5-on-5 around this Fire Giant, but not wanting to be committed is either team. Instead, looking for the poke, and on EUnited's case, it's way better considering they have those hearts that are maxed out from Panic Hat.
Portal Demon started and leashed about half HP. Looking for the zone is going to be EUnited. Still half HP on the Portal Demon. Raffer showing up. There's a blink forward. Emilito jumps away from the ultimate out of the Cupid. Raffer can do the same. Half HP for him. Portal Demon is still alive, not part of the conversation. Dimmy and Emilito get one each. Chaos goes down. Benji answers back. Yaman's ultimate down for the count, but adapting finds a kill onto Benji. Dimmy gets another one. Panda Cat the only one alive, and he's nowhere near that. Portal goes to NRG, and they're looking for the big guy.
This game has been relatively close ever since about the 20-minute mark or so. We haven't seen too much action out of these two teams, but just like that, once the first Gold Fury was started, boom, you have a 4-for-2 from NRG, and just like that, around the Fire Giant, NRG group up really well, kiting out EUnited to the point where everybody's getting grouped up from EUnited. The crushes are hurting a lot. The Fields of Love was just non-existent on Panic Hat, whereas the Suns from Emilito was worth his life.
After 27 minutes of play, NRG lead EUnited 15 kills to 8. And the gold also in the positive for NRG, leading by about 4,000. And that's before we see the siege. Fire Giant's taken down, and it's tier 1. That'll be 500 gold. But really, we're going to see both of these towers. Oh, not quite.
Not quite yet. They still have Fire Giant for 3.5 minutes. If they're sitting on a lot of gold in hand, they might as well spend it at this point. There's about 5,000 gold remaining in towers that NRG could strip away from EUnited, adapting with about 2,000 gold in hand that we saw. They're sitting at level 20, going for a very aggressive build, what looks to be like the Wind Demon.
We'll see if that's going to be the choice. You think it's going to be the choice?
Probably. He has a lot of movement speed already. If he goes for the crit, he might 2 to 3 shot the Jean-Qui once he finishes the Wind Demon into the Deathbringer after the Nemesis ult.
We'll see how that one works. As we said, look out for the crit on Adapting's Nemesis. He's very aggressive on this character. Not just looking to shut down Chaos, but looking to shut down, well, everybody. 100% kill participation. Virgil could be added to the kill column. Instead, use the ultimate, goes right back into it. There's the crit out of Adapting. Brizio very low. The ultimate out of the Hunter, just not gonna work.
Wing Blade getting him out of the Fields of Love. Easy peasy, Yaman using the ult for the CC. Immunity caught in a really awkward position with Benji and Pain to be on. Rizzo having to jump away from Dimmy though. Rizzo very low without an ultimate.
Adapting has to show up and take down the monkey. Chaos in trouble as well. That kill's gonna go the way of Benji. Gets Emilito before Chaos falls. That kill goes the way of Dimmy. 2 dead on the side of EUnited. Only Emilito falling for NRG, and they're going to push forward towards the tower. Nice ultimate out of Benji, but Yaman just doesn't mind. Raffer taking the tower, which is still barely alive. Yaman cleans it up on the back end. Down goes the structure. Down goes Pain to Beyond. The Phoenix is next, but first comes Panda Cat.
NRG have enough time to get the tier 2 tower, look for the body blocks, and get the Phoenix. Not going to go for the victory quite yet, despite having Fire Giant for still another minute and a half.
Why?
The respawn timers are not the shortest. They had a little bit of time to poke out that Titan. However, you still have to deal with Benji on this Cabrakan. It's going to be very difficult to find the kill onto him, as is using the Tremors, making it very difficult to align yourself to hit the Titan. Not only that, with these 3 towers remaining for EUnited with the Phoenixes, it helps the defenses and the strength of the Titan.
And that's going to be a Gold Fury for the guy on NRG Esports. Just about a half hour into this one, folks, and NRG find themselves with a commanding 10,000 gold lead. The defending world champions find themselves in the Gauntlet. They find themselves in the losers bracket of the Gauntlet. And yet here we are. They look pretty strong against EUnited.
It's really surprising to see NRG lose against Team Rival because they were on such a big winning streak in every single LAN that they've been attending. They haven't, I think, lost a set in a LAN ever since they faced off against Paradigm in the 2015 Super Regionals, if I'm not mistaken. And on top of that, they won about 6 LANs in a row. So for them to still have to fight for their spot at Masters, it's just going to show that the transition between Season 3 and Season 4 hasn't been the easiest for the squad of Energy, but they've been adapting.
Yeah, I mean, you heard the players earlier on say that they might have taken a break. They took it a little bit easy in an effort to not burn themselves out. And then we had Ducky on the desk, and he said, look, I don't know about that one. I think they just didn't catch up to the meta as soon. Whatever the case may be, Energy came into the season a little bit lukewarm, but they've certainly dialed it up here as we get a little bit later into things, heading now in the postseason of our spring split, looking at the shot for Masters.
It's interesting to see or to hear Ducky say about the meta picks, because Energy is not a team that's afraid to experiment around. In the first week of the SPL Season 4 Spring Split, Adapting actually ran the Mercury two times in a row without great success, regardless of that fact. And today here, running the Nemesis, we've only seen this, I believe this is the second game thus far that we're seeing this jungler.
Well, Nemesis is certainly a niche pick. Whenever there's going to be a Zhonghui, Nemesis is always an option. Just what does Nemesis do? Cut your protections in half. What does Zhonghui do? Stack a lot of protections by default. So it's just going to be a hard counter. Anytime Zhonghui is picked up, Nemesis is not only in the conversation, but perhaps the subject of the conversation. Adapting finds the ultimate on a Panda, deals some damage, forces out the ult, forces out the Aegis. There's an ultimate from Panda, and Adapting earns number 10, takes him down.
10-0 10, 100% kill participation, still at the 32-minute mark. Benji just kind of sitting there. Raptor's like, sup, bruh? Take that.
Yep. That's those guys. Having fun with it.
We all know those guys in ranked or in casual queues that will just look each other with their hands in their pockets reaching for their guns like, you gonna draw?
Yep. And it's two Guardians, so, oh well. Really though, Raffer was technically zoning, and that allows his team to pick up the Fire Giant. Ultimate out of Raffer forces an ultimate out of Pain to Beyond. Jumping forward is gonna be Will Everybody, and Pain falls to the hand of Yaman off of the assist from Emilito's Sons. Tier 2 tower on the right-hand side going down, 1,000 gold in the pocket, and we'll see them push forward towards the Phoenix.
Pain is dead for 40 seconds. Panda's reviving in about 5 seconds. This right side Phoenix, no possible way EUnited can defend this. 3-on-5 with Fire Giant on all 5 members from Energy. Mid Phoenix still respawning in about 20 seconds or less. Could look to wait for that one. Now Benji taking so much damage from one hammer and a crush.
Energy's gonna wait here and camp this Phoenix. As soon as it shows up, 1 or 2 basics should bring it right back down. And there she goes. As soon as the Phoenix respawns, it goes down for the count one more time. Left side, this tower remains and will be taken.
This is the kind of Energy that we're used to seeing just dominate games completely. Struggled against Rival earlier on today, but at the same time, this could have sparked a fire under them in terms of like proving not only to everybody around them, but to themselves that, hey, we're not out of this one. We're making Masters.
These guys don't like to lose.
No, not at all.
Plain and simple, these guys don't like to lose. And if you make Energy mad, well, you're not in for a good time. And that's what we're seeing right here. EUnited trailing by almost 20 grand, and Energy show no signs of stopping.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw the Rival was beating out of Energy. I'm like, Energy is going to make whoever loses the North America Finals pay the ultimate price.
And EUnited, unfortunately, for them and their fans, wind up here. They did stretch it to a 3-game series, EUnited taking game 1 of their matchup against SOAR, but ultimately the purple guys came up on top.
Still a 3-game set despite EUnited struggling right now in the first game. So far in both North America and Europe, the final bosses have won the first game and lost the next 2. If Energy aren't careful, they could basically have the same fate where they win the first game, start slipping, and EUnited can't catch up. So despite closing out this game, Energy are going to have to be on the ball in games 2.
Well, that's certainly what they're looking for. Left side, 4 players in Energy jerseys deep, and Dimmy by himself in the mid lane. EUnited get to spread out to protect their Phoenixes. Here comes the push, getting ready for Energy to get excited. Looking for it, waiting, and being cautious. Making sure that they don't dive too deep as Energy too soon, and still just biding their time.
that root just not on the mark onto Panicat, able to dash away in the backline. Gonna clear out the wave as Yemen in the backline though, adapting, trying to find the kill onto Panicat, able to safely retreat.
And here's a very deep Verizial trying to defend his own Phoenix, has to jump backwards. Here comes trouble for Chaos, unleashes the ultimate, and Rafa unleashes him. Yaman gets number 2. They're gonna sit down for 60 plus seconds. Benji, very low, even lower thanks to the mid laner, and adapting puts him down for number 11.
NRG doing a great job finding these picks after the left side Phoenix Siege, able to secure the Titan, able to secure game number 1 in this best of 3 spot for their chance to reach the Masters land.
So I think